Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get this party started right. Woohoo! Let's get ready to rumble. What's up, family? This is Coach Kai here, and of course, you know you are rocking with the best. You're only rocking with the best because I'm rocking with the best, and I'm just really, really excited that everybody's here. Um, you know, we just started this on Sunday, and my entire intention was to do one webinar and say, "Good, everybody got it," because I said, "Well, that's the basics." And then I started getting feedback and was like, "Oh man, I liked it, but it was kind of long." And then You know, there were certain sections I want you to go back over. So I want to apologize to everyone who came on Sunday, who's back today, or who's watching the replay, and I didn't do enough Q&A. My apologies, all right? Also, to Cheryl, I haven't called you yet, but I did get your message. I will be touching base with you in the morning. I think I have contacted everybody else who did leave me a note or shot me an email. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I appreciate y'all for being patient. I decided I needed to do an encore. And since it was 3 hours, it was supposed to be 1 hour. I said, I guess I did 3 in 1. So we're just going to break it down tonight. And tonight we're going to do the houses, which are the classrooms. And tomorrow we're going to do the planets, which are the teachers. And then on Saturday, we're going to do the signs, and then we're going to draw it all together. Now, of course, I realize that I'm not doing another 3 hours, but I'm also realizing if you come for all 4 of these classes, then you are serious. So you're the ones that I came to teach. So if it's only 3 of y'all, when this whole thing is over, then that's cool too. But, you know, I want to see as many people as I can stay. So I got freebies tonight. I got freebies in the beginning. I'm about to give out some. I got freebies in the middle. I got ads I want to show. I want people to be aware of. And then I got freebies at the end. So I'm going to give away good stuff all the way through. But at the end, I really think I really got some hotness. So don't go away until the end because I want to make sure you get that. Sometimes I like to give the value straight up front. So I might not be checking the chat all night because I got a lot of information to cover. I wrote it all down so I can stay with the flow. So first things first, cell phones, done. Cut them off. Cut the cell phones off, turn them on or turn them on vibrate. Close the doors closed. Sunday I had the youth in here. He was moving through and he had a lot of energy on Sunday. I don't know whether he was somebody that snuck him some candy or something, but tonight it's quiet. I got my water right here with my, not selenite, shungite. I got my water with the shungite. So if I get a little thirsty, I got some tools to share and show you all. Wow, right. Of course, I brought the board, you know, and then you need to close down all your browsers. You got to close down everything. Just shut everything down. Shut down Facebook, shut down Twitter, shut your email down. You're here, and then you can just send this replay out to people after it's over. Oh, but you can share it. There's a link on the bottom. So we can all do that right now. Everybody right now, there's a Twitter link and a Facebook link right at the bottom. Say, I'm on with Coach Khayr. I'm about to learn how to read my own chart. Bam, and just share that. That's it. And put it on Twitter. Let me let you get all that little social stuff out the way in the first 4 minutes. This is great. 4 minutes and we already we're getting that done. So I appreciate everybody who did share it without me even asking on Sunday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get that on out there. All right. I do want to see who's in the room real quick. So I want to know, I'm going to wait until a couple more people show up before I ask a couple of these polls that I have, but I will start out. I'm going to start out with who's here right now. So let's go over to how did you hear about this webinar? So could you please click on how you heard about the webinar? Was it Get Out the Box TV, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, email from me, forwarded to you by another friend? If you got an email, if you're on the list for Get Out the Box, then check Get Out the Box. Webinar Jam directory or random, but I'm glad I'm here. I thought I had a Sunday on there, but I guess I didn't save it. So just put down how you got here, all right? That's the poll. All right, so we got phones off, we got doors closed, we got our water, everybody's got paper and pen. Minimize the chatting to the subjects that I'm talking about. And if it's a question to me, there's a little, you can put a check in the box that says mark as a question. So it'll be highlighted and I can see what it is, okay? So send it to me like as a highlight so I can see how, how this went. Also, when you registered, you got 2 emails. One email was to say, here's the link to the webinar, and the other one came in and said, join my list. Please join the list. When it comes, just verify or confirm so I can add you to the list so you can stay in contact with me, because after Moon Magic starts on the 11th, I'm going to chill from doing, I got to focus on the program. So that's why you're getting all of these right now. And it'll be a couple of weeks before I do another one. And the next one may not necessarily be on astrology. There's a lot I want to teach. I think I'm going into relationships, a lot of that stuff going on, and magic, and maximizing for the summer. How do we maximize on this 8? 2 plus 1 plus 5 plus 0. 2015 is an 8. So that's a big year in prosperity and all this other stuff. But tonight we're just going to be talking about this. So we've already shared it. Right now I got the 3 codes for you. 3 codes are keep 51, keep 50, and keep 100. All caps. Keep 50, keep 51, and keep 100. So write those codes down. All right. All right. Now, reset the sticky. Turn off the poll. So I also want to ask people a quick question too. What's your astrology experience? Let me see who's in the room real quick. Can you please answer these questions and let me know what is your astrology experience? Oh, by the way, I'm doing slides tonight because everybody was like, oh man, I got to draw it. It's okay. I'm about to give you your home, but you still need to draw the circle, okay? So we're going to, you're still going to need to draw the circle. I better go ahead and pull that up right now, the blank chart. While you please fill out, hit that poll for me and let me know what is your experience with astrology. Have you had readings before? Have you been studying? That's basically what I want to know tonight. All right. And if somebody stays in Atlanta and they want to be an intern for Coach Khayr, please, please, please send me an email at hello@CoachKhayr and put intern in the subject box, because I'm looking for somebody. But I need somebody local. And if you got an Apple computer, that would really, really help. If you have some editing, some help, that would be great. Yeah, just send me why you think you should be my intern at hello@CoachKhayr, because I'm looking for an intern, because there's a lot of things going to be happening after my birthday, which is in 10 days. Yay me. I'm a life changer. So at the end of this, I'm going to see who's really, because I'm giving you this information not only for the children, but to help change your life. And I want to work with some of you. I would love to work with all of you, but sometimes people just come and they just be nosy. And then there's different levels of seriousness. I'm just going to be straight up. That's how I am. There are window shoppers, right? They just come to the window and look at the Mercedes and say, that's nice. Then you have people who come in and kick the tires and test drive. They're a little more serious and they're in, but they're not really buying. They like to test drive it and feel the leather, which I don't have a problem with that. I do that too. Then there's the buyer. There's a person who comes directly in and says, I want this. I want the car. They walk past the window shopper. They don't kick a tire. They don't want to test drive. They say, give me the keys, because this is what I want. And I'm looking to see some people who this is what you really want to work with Coach, because I got some programs and some things in place that are going to help some people. All right. I mean, more than this, like this is so tip of the iceberg. But this is what my mentors and peers say. Give them the tip of the iceberg. I used to go so deep. We're not doing that. All right. So we got the poll filled out. Thank you. Now I got the first giveaway for you. I want you to take your Astro homework. And please grab your workbook. If you click on this, you don't have to download it right now, but just click on that link and then bookmark the tab. That's why I want you to close everything. So when I put these offers up, you can just click it and then you can download it later. Don't try to download this and open this right now, okay? Because I'm not even using this now. This is for you later on your own. This is a freebie for being on time, all right? So please do not try to download this right now. Just click it and stick it. Click it and stick it, right? Pause. But I mean, stick it into your bookmarks. So save this right here, all right? Is that cool? Is everybody cool so far? See, LaQuisha to the divine. Oh, I gotta shout everybody out. Who's in the building? Big shouts out to LaQuisha, Michelle, Cheryl has a few books. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Tuware. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Tasha, Kathy, Tracy. Rohan is in the building. Andrea's in the building. Raymond is in the building. I really love that Cheryl comes to check my stuff out. Cheryl, I know you're going to be in Houston, so I'm going to see you there. But that just makes me feel really good because, like, both of us have really beautiful hair. I'll just say that. It's just like, oh, it's wonderful. We're going to be putting up selfies when we get to Houston. Big shouts out to Smooth Lyrics. Big shouts out to Karen, Walundra Redding. I think I said Rohan, Rahubat to Darwin. Big shouts out to Mr. Black Health's in the building. And everybody else who is already here. Belinda. Hi, Belinda. She studied for years. Okay. Val is in the building. Like, this is for everybody. It's for children. Like, so thank you for, clicking on the poll and saying, what is your astrological experience? All right. Now, I was going to ask another poll, but we got the freebies, and now I know who's in the room. Let's get started. I want to share, I've been studying for a while, like since 2001, and people are always saying, yo, give me a reading, give me a mini reading, take my birthday down, this, that, and the third. Well, this science has changed my life. It is not astronomy. I use the 12-house system, but I have a hybrid because I've been taught by some amazing teachers. Sister Myra is it Mama Myra? Sister Myra, I'm going to put the link in the chat. Ra'aku from Cosmo Physics, my brother Marku, Kristen Littles, Darren, Master Mitchell Gibson, also Letissa Tatum, and Serene Gaia. Those are like who I have to give honors and respect to for their little contributions and their huge contributions to me learning this science. And everybody who I study with. Ampu, Minister Jew, definitely have to include the priesthood. Natasha, thenumberswami.com. Man, just amazing. My man Tyrone, because I do study numerology. Big shouts out to Joy for my destiny cards. So I just want to give shouts out and honors that I've studied with a lot of people. I've read a lot of books. I'm gonna show y'all where some books are at tonight too, I think I'm gonna let y'all get that. All right. What have some famous people said about astrology? I want to go over that real quick because some people say, well, why should I? Tonight we're going to be going over the houses, but the first thing I want to do is talk about some wise men, seers, and other well-known names have said about astrology. Ben Franklin said, oh, the wonderful knowledge to be found in the stars. Even the smallest things are written here if you had but skill to read. That one statement is like why I'm here, like why I want people to like study this. Theodore Roosevelt, he kept a horoscope mounted on a chessboard in the Oval Office of the White House. And I can guarantee everybody wasn't coming by touching it. I always keep my weather eye on the opposition of my 7th house moon with my 1st house Mars. I love it. JP Morgan, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Ronald Reagan, former chief of staff for Ronald Reagan. It's common knowledge that the large percentage of Wall Street brokers use astrology. Plato said perhaps there's a pattern set up in the heavens for one who desires to see it. That's why the science isn't for everybody, because if you don't desire to see it, then it's not going to happen. So having seen it, we find one in himself. So to look at the patterns of yourself, your astrology chart is going to reflect that to you. Astrology is a science in itself, Albert Einstein says, and contains an illuminating body of knowledge. It taught me many things, and I am greatly indebted to it. Sir Isaac Newton, he had a hater, the skeptic or a hater, Edmund Halley. He said, I have studied the matter. You, sir, have not. That's what I say sometimes when people say, oh, it's a bunch of hogwash. You haven't applied it, and you haven't not just studied it, but practiced. We're going to start practicing this tonight. Ralph Waldo Emerson, astrology is astronomy brought down to earth and applied toward the affairs of man. If you're here tonight and you've been having problems in your life, this is going to be applied to your affairs. Your affairs aren't in order, it's because you haven't brought astrology down. Hippocrates says a physician without the knowledge of astrology has no right to call himself a physician. And Pythagoras, who studied in ancient Egypt, said, the stars in the heavens sing a music, if only we had ears to hear. That's also Psalms 19. I'm going to show you that one real quick. And Confucius taught his followers, heaven sends down its good and evil symbols, and wise men act accordingly. I think all of you are very wise for being here, and I'm just tickled pink that you decided to come in and rock with Coach tonight, and just, let's really do some science tonight, and let's really work it out. I want, for my Bible thumpers, I got something for you too. Where's my desktop? How? Psalms 19:1. Just show this to them. It says, declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Oh, let me copy that right there, just in case somebody may need that for your Bible thumpers. I'm going to put that in the chat. If you want to share, you know what? I'd love for everybody to copy that Psalms 19. Can you copy that for me and share that on Facebook or Twitter? That would be great. Yes. So just in case, be like, oh, the blasphemy. It's no blasphemy. We're having fun out here tonight. All right. Next, I wanted to, what are we getting into? Did the wise people? Oh, let's get it started. My theme is always, when we studied astrology and taught it in elementary school, we built pyramids. When we took astrology out of elementary school, they moved us to projects. So tonight I'm going to do the slide program. Oh, yeah. You want to know where it's at? You got to go follow. Please follow Coach over on Facebook. Hit this link and follow me on my fan page, because I'm about to migrate everybody over to the Coach Khayr page. I don't need any more friends on my personal page. I'm trying to move everybody over to my Facebook page. So please click on that link and follow me on Facebook. Because guess what? That's where I have the slides at. The slides for tonight, I put them in the photo album. Boop, 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 boop. Because you might lose the download or something like that. But Mark Zuckerberg is not going to let Facebook go down just because I put these slides up. So please hit this link up, follow Coach on Facebook, and I'll bring that back later. And I'm going to let you see the slides, but stay on the screen right here first, all right? Because we're about to get started. So, remember when I told you that, back up. I told you that your astrology chart, oh man, allow this, but I got to show you one more thing first. Excuse me. I almost forgot. You all know what it is. Get your paper and pen out. You got to draw your chart. So let's start with this. Everybody, please draw your circle. You could draw a couple of these, but for right now, just draw one. If you printed out your homework from Sunday, the handbook, then you already have this in your PDF, and you could just like copy just one page. You also could go on Google and type in blank astrology charts and pull these up and print them out all day. You wouldn't have to draw anything. That's where I got this from, on Google. So please, and then put a circle in the middle and put me. Draw a circle in the middle of this chart and put me. Really simple. Make it bigger than a DVD, all right? Make it big as the paper today. If you're drawing a circle today, make it really big, because that's all we're doing today is houses, the university, the chart. That's all. We're not doing the planets. We're not doing the signs. That's tomorrow. And I have 142 slides for you today, right? And we're going to get through all of them. I want to get through them by 10 o'clock. I think we've got good pace today. Thank y'all for being so patient. So has everyone finished? Has everybody drawn their chart? Can I just get a quick yes? You're not seeing any of the links you're talking about? Okay, Tracy, I'll come back to that. Can I get a quick yes if everybody is seeing the chart and is writing, has drawn their chart? I know there's a little delay, but give me some yeses. So I appreciate that. And now we're going to get started with the class. Phelan is in the building, peace. Samira's in the building, peace. Meru is in the building, peace. Ashley, Karen, everybody's saying yes, they see it. Okay, Pamela says she sees it, good. All right. Gotta share the screen. So, remember, I said the chart is your university. Let's look at this aerial view of a university. The university has a design. You see the circle in the middle, and you see all the houses right around the quad or whatever they're calling it. And the chancellor has his position, and there's dormitories, and there's an econ room, and the janitor has his room, and you got tennis courts over there, and you got track and field in the athletic department, and you got the admin, and you got financial aid office, and you got the library, and you got the science department. Can you see like the little houses in there? Like, you see how similar it looks to the chart that you just drew? Because that's how I want you to look at it tonight. Is we're talking about a university. Look at your chart. It's an education. It's education. When you came down here, you're in the middle, you're the president, but you didn't know who the teachers were. You didn't know, you know, like where they were and what the classes are. So when you originally come to a university, you know where the classrooms are because you don't want to be late, right? And you're saying, well, how do I map this out? I got to go all the way across campus. So you got like something over here, and you got to go all the way over here. And you got to come back over here to the chapel and go back over here to the calf, or, you know, then I got to run over here and run laps and, you know, all these different things, right? And you got off-campus housing and things like that. So this is what your chart is like, a university. This is the university with a lot of information in it. I wish I could get it bigger, but I'm sorry. But you really don't need to read all these words. You just notice the numbers are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it says beginners houses. And this flyer is inside of the handbook that I passed out. I think it is. I think this is in there, right? And you can find this too, but don't worry about it, because what I'm showing you is that it gets easier. So we took some of the color out, made it bigger, And you see now you have all the signs, you have the houses, which are the classrooms. And this is what we're going over tonight. Classroom 1, personality. 2, money and values, your logical mind, brothers and sisters, home and family, romance, creative children, work and health, marriage and partnerships. Now stop right here at the 7th house. We're not writing marriage down in the 7th house. And when I get there, I'll tell you why. Marriage is going in the 8th house when Coach Khayr is teaching you, okay? The 9th house, travel, law, higher learning, philosophy. The 10th house, career, boss, and authority, friends and ideals, number 11, and the unconscious spiritual realm, past life. And that's you in the middle where the black dot is at. Don't try to copy this down because that's not what I got for you. Bam! Okay. Then it gets a little more simple. I'm taking away words, and we'll keep on breaking it down until we get down to the classrooms. And this chart will be kind of covered when you start learning the diurnal for those who want to take the 5-week course that I'm offering in June. And that course will be starting on the 23rd of June. I'm sorry, 23rd of May. I said the 21st the other day, but it's going to be the 23rd because that's a Saturday. I don't want people to have to be stressed about I can't make it because I got to go to work. And it'll probably be like 5 or 6 in the afternoon, something like that. All right. Make sure you got that Keep 100 code with you tonight too. I'm just hint. Now we're going to talk about the first house. So when you see the color red, that's because it's an elemental, and the element is fire. The first house is fire. And when you look at the chart, you're going to be looking at your first house. Now, really quick, I know some people, I didn't mean to switch over like this, but I got to do it in mid-sentence. I have to tell people, we went over this the other day about how to get your own chart. So I use astro.com. It says create a horoscope immediately as a guest user. I'll put my name in here. Khayr. I'm a male. My birthday's May 17th, 1970. Was born at 2:44. If you know what time you were, or you know what time is on the birth certificate, put that in there. I don't trust it. If you talk to me and I verified it, then put in the time that we have discussed. If you don't know, put in 6 a.m. Now, I stay in Atlanta, Georgia. So see birth town right here? Do not use your birth town. Put the town that you stay in. We covered that the other day, and I'll be talking about that some more. Then you hit continue. After I hit continue, I slide down, I hit extended chart selection, and I go here to default and I change it to equal. And then I click on always use true node. Always use true node and equal, and then click here to show the chart. Now you don't have to do this now, it's being recorded, but you can come back and you'll be able to find this and see it. And now you see this first section right here is just where I have these planets. It's just like this, the first house. So you'll know where your first house is. Now, there's a lot of depictions. So when you get your chart and it's got all of these lines on it, you're only focusing on the first house. Why are we focusing on the first house immediately? Because it's one of the most important houses. This is what it will look like in your chart. The first house, the number 1 is right there in the middle. All of the attention is on the first house, okay? This is also your ascendant. The ascendant is usually 80% of the chart's energy, unless the chart contains a 4-planet stellium, which would then compete with the strength of the AC's energy. Now, 4 planets that means 4 planets. A stellium is 4 planets in one house or one sign. The ascendant is much more powerful than any other single point in a chart. Its influence even surpasses the sun and moon's energy. The ascendant acts as a megaphone to the world, projecting all the natal energy through the AC's style filter outward in an obvious way to the world. Remember that, an obvious way to the world. This is why I say it's pause right there in the reading. This is why I say it's so important to have the right time of birth, because you could be going through life with the wrong ascendant, because the ascendant changes every 2 hours. If you were born at 8 o'clock at night and then somebody else was born at 11:30 that night, y'all have two different ascendants. Born the same day, same hospital, two different charts. And the person born the same day that morning at 6 o'clock, another chart. They have a different ascendant, okay? The AC describes a person's outward personality, lifestyle, major life events, physical characteristics, physical health, attitude, worldview, and how they are viewed by the world. 80% of the chart's manifestation is determined by the AC's quality and conditions. Signs, planets within 10 degrees and aspects. All the chart's energies must be related back to the AC for accurate interpretation. Why? Because who am I? That's what the AC is all about. Who am I? The first house and the ascendant are the same. Who am I? Hello, my name is, and what's in a name? Well, remember we talked about age groups the other day. So when you're 1 year old, you are concerned about who are you? You can't talk. So your parents are looking at you and they're saying, oh, look at Jill or Shaniqua or Leslie or any name like that, or Lovely. Her name may be Love. I like the name Love and the word love. And you're calling this child's name and they're looking at you. When you call their name, don't you like it when you call the infants their name? So the whole first year, other than changing the diaper and feeding them, it's about who they are. That's the first house. I am. This child wants to know who I am. And that's what your first house shows you, is who I am, right? I am me. The first house is your fingerprint. Keep this in mind. It's your identity, okay? It's also the body of the car, because your ascendant and your sun sign may not always be the same. So what are you going to do? You need to know that when a car pulls up, you can't see underneath the hood. All you see is the body. So the first house is just the body of the car, the dynamics, the curves. That's what you're looking at. Here is what the first sign is all about. You know, this is when you pull up. I'm a Virgo rising. So when I pull up, people see Virgo. But when they pop the hood or I start talking, they know I'm a Taurus, or my work ethic. So I know how to combine them. But you can't run everything off of your sun sign, because you need to understand what type of car you're driving. You may be driving a truck body versus a Sportster. Also, the first sign talks about how you look, your physical characteristics, right? Your facial components. You look at, if you have iMovie on your Mac and they're talking about facial recognition, this is all about the first house. This is how they're so-called catching spies and things like that. If you watch The Blacklist like me, you'll see that they're using facial recognition. They're looking at some person's first sign. Now, the first house is also Aries as well. Well, let me finish this. Eye study, nose, mouths. You have different shapes of nose, eyes, and mouths for depending on your sign. This is your personality. What makes you what you are, all right? So some of you have been studying for years. I know I heard at least one person said they've been studying for a long time. I recently had someone who was studying for over 20 years and they had the wrong rising sign. Like they teach yoga and they were studying, but they were kind of studying kind of casually, but they were keeping up with it, you know, and it was a science to them. But you have to know how to rectify the chart to make sure you're getting the right energy read, right? So it's very important. And I want to big up Ra Aku from the Cosmophysics. If you'd like to be put in the Astrology Club, formerly known as the Academy of Cosmophysics, please send me a message at Coach Khayr on Facebook, and I will add you to the group. All right? Or I'll send you a link. Don't send me an email because it's only on Facebook, and it is amazing what we do in there. All right. Also, the first house is action. So I put this picture of guns up here because guns also represent Aries, and Aries is the first house, and cutting or initiating. And when you pull a gun out on somebody, you're initiating something, all right? So the gun doesn't necessarily mean violence, but you are initiating something. So I just wanted to put this as a sidebar as well. Next, we're going to go into the second house. You see it's green too. The second house on your chart is all about, right there, there's the placement of the second house. Do you have any planets in the second house? Because it's all about the money, baby. The second house is all about where's the do-re-mi. It's the house of your personal possessions. It's money that you put in your pocket. You see that? That's going in the pocket. Look at that fat roll. Now it's got a lot of ones on the outside. That's okay. Because I know some of you ladies are looking and saying, I don't want a pocket full of ones. I put my ones on the outside, me personally. Maybe this person loves their money. That's also the second house. Because they're thinking about, oh, there it is. That's the money in your Gucci bag, ladies. How about all those 20s sitting in your bag? How about the Louis Vuitton full of $100 bills? That's your money. The second house represents your money and your stuff, your personal stuff. My hat, my makeup, my cell phone, my Metro card. Look at that. That's New York. Right. My glasses, my keys. These are my notes, the things that you own and possess. That's what the second house is all about. The clothes and fashion, nice clothes, nice things. These are more things than they are, even though they're all clothes and fashion, is dealing with things right here. Because Libra, or the seventh house, is more about fashion, but we're talking about personal possessions for the second house. Also, natural resources. Resources, because the second house is an earth house. So even I have water in here. Water is like, it's still a resource. It's on the planet Earth. What is this called? Earth. Second house is an earth house. All right. Natural gas, fossil fuels, oxygen. We use all these as personal resources. Oh, look at that. Look at that. The food. Ooh, my. My food. Woo! I knew I had some vegetarians that were going to be on tonight. I didn't want to be disrespectful. So here's your fruit basket. And it's just, the second house is all about food too. This is the fuel to put on your plate. Look at that. Oh, look at the buffet. My. Had to get a swallow of my water. Thank you. And this is all about the second house. More cakes. I want to put a small picture because I didn't want you just to blow up from just watching it. And then it's the money house. You know what this is? This is the bull right in front of Wall Street. So the second house is personal possessions and money. So I'm just emphasizing things that are the second house. And even the Chinese recognize it by this golden bull. He's played it down with these coins. These are like Chinese coins. To me, they're Chinese coins, even though they look like shields, and it's bronze, but there's probably a gold one somewhere, I'm pretty sure. And that's the second house. The third house is highlighted in yellow because it's an air sign. It's air. That's the third house on your wheel. You'll be looking at the third house. What does the third house represent? The third house, this is what it looks like when we say the sun is in my third house. The sun is in the third, right? The third house represents speaking, singing, tones, talking, just words coming out of the mouth. That's don't make jokes. That's not bad breath. That's good breath. That's somebody just talking and expressing themselves. Listen to me, the megaphone. That's also the third house. Communicating, expressing. I didn't put a picture of texting, but texting is also in here. And my siblings, my brothers and sisters, my hermanos and hermanas. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm not sure, but you get the picture. Your brothers and sisters. And it doesn't have to be necessarily blood relatives, but those you consider to be your relatives, all right? Those you call your brothers, your siblings. You say, we're running thick as thieves. That's your third house associations. Also, it's just around the corner, short trips. The third house is all about short trips. Short trips. I'm giving y'all a lot of keywords tonight because I want you to really expand the mind to be able to think about every house and knowing what it represents, all right? It's just around the corner. And then the fourth house. Before I go to that, I want to just check in real quick and see how everybody's doing. Second house empty, no money for me. Okay, Brendale, don't have anything in my second house. It doesn't mean you're broke. Listen, let's pause right here. Let's pause. If you don't have any planets in the house, it means you've already learned the lesson. If you do have planets in a house, the planets are teachers, remember? And they're there to teach you a lesson. So if you have planets if the first house is occupied, they're teaching you about your ego and your personality. If you have planets in the second house, they're going to teach you lessons about money. So just because you have planets in there doesn't mean you're going to be rich. Just because you don't have planets in there mean that you're going to be broke. So no assumptions, please, okay? I want to put a quick poll in here real quick to see, has this been helpful so far? Can I get the poll? Please just click and let me know, has this been helpful so far through the first three houses? Just wanted to see, get a feel for, has this been helpful? All right. Definitely appreciate everybody who is attending tonight. I want to make sure everybody is taking notes. And I even have to keep my gauge on. I got my sand hour. It looks like I might be going past 10 o'clock, but I'm going to get through all of these. All right. Okay. I'm going to take the poll. Okay. Somewhat. I'm just going to leave that right there for the time being. And we're going to get back to the fourth house. I'm probably going to pick it up a little bit. Is it okay? Is it okay if I pick it up a little bit? Yes, remember my decision. This is the fourth house where it's located on your chart. And the fourth house is the house of emotions. Emotions, baby. Energy in motion. That's what emotion stands for. Energy in motion. The house we grew up in as well. It's also your history. The house we grew up in. It's the History Channel. Right. A quick review. The house we grew up in, emotions, and your personal history. And when I found this article, it said the house I grew up in, it's on BBC Radio, and it's got the number 4 right there. Somebody's studying astrology. Whoever put this together, they know that 4 represents the house. And I couldn't even, I guess I should have went back and saw where this article was going, but I found that most unique that they had 4, the house I grew up in. It's also the house of magic. Look at there, look how big that is. Yeah. Fourth house is the house of magic. Ooh, big mama magic. And utilizing her is really serious. So yes, it doesn't mean that if you don't have planets in the house that you don't have, we're not worrying about whether you have planets in there or not. You're just going to write down what the house is right now. Don't go ahead of the teacher. Just stay with me, right? Just list down the keywords. Bam, pull it out of the hat. It's the house of magic. The fifth house is of another fire house. Oops, excuse me. Fourth house is a water sign. Cancer is a water. Fourth house is water. The fifth house is fire. It's red again. Fifth house is fire, and it's the house of willpower. I will. The fourth house was I feel. The fifth house is I will, dealing with the willpower. The first house is I am. Second house is I have. Third house was I communicate. This is the fifth house of the willpower. Yes, I will. It's leadership, creativity, and this is definitely the house of love. I love me some me. That fifth house, man. Boy, 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 boy. That's why I like strategies, so we can see how we can enhance the fifth house if we need to, depending on, because everybody's got such a unique chart. Remember I said the kindergartners, 5-year-olds. Here go the children. The fifth house is also the sign of children and playing. Children love to play. These children ain't too serious. They want to do some work, but children love to play. So the fifth house is also playing, okay? Playing. And it's also your friends, right? Friends, close friends, childhood friends. Everything in the first 6 houses in the lower hemisphere is very personal. So the fifth house is the house of friends. And also the fifth house is what? Casual sex. That's right. It gets a little frisky in there. It's a firehouse. Don't be upset. It's a firehouse. Things go down when the heat gets turned up. So yes. I just liked it. It's not that I'm for or against two women, but I was going for the words and they just showed up. All right. I know some of y'all saying, well, what if I got a lot of planets in here? It just depends on what planets you have in there. We'll talk about it later. Okay. Next is the sixth house. The sixth house is I work. I work. Work it out. Now, not walk it out, but work it out. This is your job. This is also the sign of the perfectionist. The perfectionist is in the sixth house. Oh, man. Y'all, I mean, these people, man, they just, boy, that sixth house, they analyze. You can say I analyze too. This is also the house of health. I'm sorry, I didn't get a slide for that, but that is the slide, and that is the perfectionist for the sixth house. They want to analyze everything. Break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down. This is you Virgos too. The sixth house is the natural house of Virgo. So they always want it. So in all of these keywords go with each sign. The first house, Aries. Second house, Taurus. Third house, Gemini. Fourth house, Cancer. Fifth house, Leo. Sixth house, Virgo. All these keywords and phrases go with each of the signs as well. I didn't really want to go into the signs because we're going to do those on Saturday. Now, before we get to the seventh house, I told you we were going to take a break here, and we had to run a little commercial break. So I appreciate that. Omi Funkes has a request. Thank you. But before we do that, what I'm going to do is I have a video to show everybody. I got to pay the bills. All right. So if everybody will just sit back for a quick second, I'm going to run the commercial for Moon Magic, because my Moon Magic program is starting on the 11th, which is Monday. It's a 28-day program that will change your life. And I'm also going to, even before I do that, I want to give you all please download the Moon Magic curriculum. So please click on that and just save that. This is the curriculum. I'm going to just leave it in the room while I run to the commercial and run the radio. If you want to get up and stretch, this is a good time to get up and stretch because we're halfway through. We're almost finished the webinar, but we're halfway through the chart. And then I'm going to do Q&A, and and then I got some more freebies to give away at the end. Don't go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. All right. Load this up. And Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Didn't lose anybody, did I? All right. Philona Jones, I come right back to questions. I love that. Thank you very much. Philona says, Tara, Moon Magic was supposed to pop up. You're right back to me now. What element is the sixth house? The sixth house is Virgo, so that's a earth element. Yeah. That was Katie and Philona. Moon Magic popped up. What influence does the elements have on the planet in that house? Repeat that question when we come back. What's the importance of the elements in the house? Woohoo! Y'all asking some good questions. The importance of the elements in the house, I guess I'll get to these real quick, and let's go back through the next six houses, is once they start to interact with one another, because all the water signs have an arrangement, all the air signs have an arrangement, all the earth signs, earth, water, air, and fire, they all have an arrangement, right? So you'll learn in the signs like which element they are and how they affect one another, because I'm really teaching you relationships. I'm really teaching you, because once you know how the signs relate here in the circle, very mundane, and then you meet somebody and you see what house they fall in, what classroom they're coming to teach you, and what planets they're bringing, and then the elementals, you can understand how to relate with them and get more out of the relationship. Bam! I had to trick y'all like Mr. Miyagi. It's like a karate class. The whole thing is about relationships. All right. If the lower hemisphere is personal, what's the upper hemisphere? The upper hemisphere is sociable. It's the outer world. All right. Can you overcome negative elements of your sign? The sign doesn't have any negative elements. There's no negative in the chart at all. You don't know how to jump rope. That's the thing. You're out of alignment. You're doing double dutch, and it keeps hitting you on the arm and leaving a mark on the arm. So no sign has a negative element. All right. So I'm back in the building. I'm going to reset the poll. Chat. Okay. Now let us resume. All right. Is everybody cool? Is everybody all right? Can I get a quick yes in the chat room if we're all together and ready to move on to the seventh house? There's a little lag, but I know that's okay. All right, let's get back to the seventh house. The seventh house is an air sign. That's the element. And the seventh house is about partnerships and relationships. Now you see these pieces fit together, but they're not married, okay? I can relate to that. The root word of relationships is to relate. That's right, how you relate to people. The seventh house, what's going on in the seventh? A lot of you think you have negativity going on in your life. If you would only study the seventh house, the God house, you would get so much information and clarity on what's going on, okay? Like, oh my goodness, you would see so much more about how you relate. When people say know thyself, you need to really understand how you relate to certain things. You see the partnerships. That's what's going on in the seventh house. They're not married. It doesn't look like a married couple, but they're relating, right? They're at work together. It's a business deal, some contracts. It's a handshake. You know, this is a deal. This is how we interact and relate with one another. This is kind of like what relationships kind of look like. See, purple is relating to red, red's relating to green's relating to blue's relating to brown's relating to dark green's relating to red, and so on and so forth. This is how we relate to one another, right? So this is a seventh house. Now, a lot of y'all want this. He's grabbing her butt. I didn't see that. Well, we're all grown, right? A lot of people, there's some romance in the seventh house because you're dating. This doesn't mean that they go together, right? But they're being romantic and they're dating. And it is airy because the air is in the mind. And there's a lot of things going on in the air type stuff. So, In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, that's about relationships, right? So, she's looking deeply in his eyes and he's making some promises that he can keep his integrity with, right? So this is what most people look at the seventh house and they want it to be about this. But remember, it can be about this or this as well as this. It's all about justice too. The seventh house is about justice because the seventh house comes from the contracts. Contracts. When we sign a contract, it's up under this legal system, the terms of use. Because when we do a relationship, that's the first thing we're setting up, right? Is who's going to do what? What are the gender roles? What's responsibility? Who's responsible for what? Make it clear. And then, of course, my mama, my aunt rules the seventh house as well. That's MA apostrophe AT. If you didn't know, now you know. She's in the seventh house. It's all about the balance. All right, the balance. Now, relationships can look like this too. Ain't always peachy keen. You arguing with somebody, there could be some afflictions in the seventh house. So, or afflictions to the seventh house from other houses. All this will be, when we talk about afflictions, then we'll be talking about in the course that starts on June the 23rd. I'm sorry, May the 23rd. Next, we go to the eighth house, which is in a water sign. It's a water sign, and it's all about desire. I desire. Where's my desire at? I want my stuff. All I desire. Can I have it? Hey, I want. And if you're a Scorpio, I know you're feeling this because this is your house. The eighth house, though, is also about transformation, other than what you want. I say that the eighth house is all about marriage, big time marriage. And because the reason I say that is because that transforms you. We putting our money in this together now. We got our money in this together now. We're talking about the inheritance. The eighth house is also the inheritance, what you may receive from ancestors or what is left to you through a will. And where's our money? Remember the second house was my money, my stuff. This is our money house. Where's our money? And this is also going more into the transformation, rebuild and reinvent. If something seems to break down, you got to get off and rebuild and reinvent. You need to look at what's happening in your eighth house, not just in your natal chart, but what's transiting that eighth house as well. The eighth house is the house of the phoenix, the ultimate in transformation. Woo! Yes, yes. The phoenix, man, just beautiful, beautiful. Big shouts out to Art by Gameco. Copyright LK Lab Global. Don't want anybody trying to, get at me. This is such a beautiful phoenix rising out of the ashes. And it's also about sex. It is the house of sex. Point blank, not just casual sex, but deep transformational sex. Transformational sex. That's the eighth house. So you got desires, wants, our money, inheritance, and more sex. Hey, maybe this y'all can relate. They're in the kitchen too. Look, there's a stove. Well, well, well. Sharing resources once again. And here's another transformation. So you're moving from the larva to the butterfly. But how often does the butterfly remember the larva? And how often does the larva even know that he's going to one day turn into a butterfly? That's that was the eighth house. The ninth house is a fire sign, fire house, excuse me. And it's what I see. What I see. And this is like your vision, but it isn't just what you see, because you're looking, you gotta like see with new eyes. This is like that philosophy. This is where I have to look past, this is I sometimes call this the wisdom house, because you gotta see past the obvious. You gotta look out there. You understand? And then there's a teacher going on. You see how the man is teaching the boy like what to look at? He's giving him guidance. That's what this house is about. It's all about international travel as well. Anything over 4 hours, this is that house for international travel. Just let me stamp it. This is what I am interested in, letting my bag look just like this. And like I said, anything over 4 hours is an international trip. So if you're in Europe and you move 4 hours, you'd be in another country, Africa, all of that. In the United States, if you move 4 hours, or you go from Detroit to Atlanta, that was an international trip. If you go from Sacramento to Houston, that's international. And it's the sign of the guru, it's the house of the guru. Yeah, you come to the ninth house to learn. My son is in the ninth house. Yeah. And so I teach. That's what I do. Should I cut to that screen really quick? Let's just cut to that screen really quick because I do have it up. If you'll notice, you'll see my son is in the ninth house. So you see Coach Khayr teaching. Not always teaching, but I find teachable moments rather easy. All right, back over here. The guru, he's in the ninth house. And then the 10th house. I want to say this philosophy. He's giving him some philosophy. The young chap has got to apply it, but the old cat is giving it to him. He's probably teaching it to him in stories. The 10th house, it's an earth house, and it's at the top of the chart. It's at the top, it's like the 12 o'clock. It's the highest you can get in the chart. High noon, that's what it is. And this is the utilize me. This is the house of work. So utilize. Let's put it into action. And here's the work. This is also Capricorn's house. Capricorns are some workers. They can be stubborn too because they feel like I got to get the job done. But they know how to utilize those tools though. A Capricorn, you put a tool in their hand, they will fix it or invent something. This is also the house of fame. I'm gonna live forever. Fame. What are you famous for? Like, what does the public know you for? So remember, you came from your own personal house, which was the 4th house. And then when we move across the street, directly across, we're in the 10th house. This is what the public knows you for. What are you famous for? Your name goes here. You're the star. Remember I told you right in the middle? When you draw a line directly from the middle straight to the top, that's the 10th house. Your name is here. The 11th house is Aquarius, is ruled by Aquarius, and it's also an air sign. The water bearer is not a water sign. It's an air sign and he's a know-it-all. I know. That's the key word for Aquarius. I know. I know. If you get somebody talking about I know, they're normally an Aquarius or an Aquarius rising. They're kind of easy for me to pick out. Like, I just don't pick them out just because they say I know all the time. But, they got all the information. They read a lot of books. Like, this person is into the knowledge. Drop some knowledge. Know the ledge. Where the facts at? Where's I want the knowledge. I want to be known. I want to know something. I want awareness, knowingly, knowledge. I got to have it. That's all the 11th house. 11th house is also clubs and organizations. Clubs and organizations. Your Boy Scouts, your secret societies too, clubs and societies, your fraternities, all of that is the 11th house. Dreams come true is the 11th house as well. This is where, because things can happen all of a sudden. Been working on it for 10 houses. Now you get to the 11th house, and all of a sudden the dream comes true, and you start networking. You're networking with people, and you're networking with institutions. Twitter, the internet, Facebook, Pinterest, all that is the 11th house. And so when you put these two together, you're really talking about the 11th house. The 11th house is also unpredictable. Hi there, Mr. Aquarius. I'm about to tell on you. And to get a sip. Unpredictable. The key phrase I use for the 11th house is respect the unexpected. It's ruled by the planet Uranus. Type in Uranus astrology. Even get ready for tomorrow's class. But today, just remember the house is unpredictable. Okay? Just anything can happen because it could be explosive. An atomic bomb, some dynamite going off. That's the 11th house as well. Okay? Now remember, everything's got a high and a low energy. So you saw in the first house, I showed a baby and I showed some guns. Or I showed some money in the second house and I showed a lot of food. So there's different vibrations in every house. It's just depending on who's in it and who's doing what. And last but not least, coming around the corner, we're in the 12th house, Pisces, the water sign. Pisces rules the 12th house, but we're talking about just the 12th house of I believe. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. This is a good old sign of fantasies, and illusions, imagination, people being in their heads all the time. They're thinking these things, they should be working, but they're daydreaming. Except for this one guy. He's 2 out of 3 people are daydreaming when they're at work. He's thinking about work, but she wants to be on the beach. My man, he wants to be Iron Man. And she is like, what in the world am I here for? But her hands and her body are here on earth, but she's in a whole different place. That might even describe you Pisces too. Big shouts out to all my Pisces in the room. Religion. Your religions come out of the 12th house in all different languages, so on and so forth. This is the epitome of the 12th house is religions. Also drugs. The Mary Jane, you smokers. I want to get high. Oh, it gets me lifted. I can meditate better. Right. But you know what happens when you start messing with drugs? You go to jail. The 12th house. I don't mean just because you smoke. If you get caught with all this, you're going to jail. And you're going to be in there because now you come out and you start messing with this. Oh, man. This is not good because this goes back to this too. So the 12th house is addictions, drugs. Got to be careful. Look at, sorrow. Sorrow? Whoo. And he's in just in the dark because it's a secret house. And that's what it is. It's also the house of secrets. A lot of people you ever got in a relationship with somebody and they had an addiction, a substance abuse or something that you wish you would have known earlier, and then you found out? Well, that's the 12th house. That's how that works. So, brace yourself, But that's why we're having this class, so you'll know. We all have secrets. See, so just because you don't have planets in the house, I'm repeating this again, you have some secrets, and it's going to be revealed by the sign that's governing it, and if you have planets in there or if you don't. But that's the house of secrets. It's also the movies, all of that broadcasting and film directing, an entire industry is the 12th house, all day, every day. And more, like I said, confidential, secrets, that is the 12th house. And that kind of like brings us to questions, comments, and concerns. Who has questions, comments, and concerns? I am so happy we got through that. I went a little over time, I appreciate everybody for being so patient, but let me go back now and jump in and see what's going on. Katie said, what's the element again? Of what house, Katie? Darwin hit it with the I know. Katie's got Chiron in the 11th. I see some woohoos and some LOLs, some been there's. I want to poll the room again and see has so far as what I've shared been helpful. So I like to see. Oh yes, I love it that I'm getting a fresh one. Was this helpful? Just please let me know. I love my feedback. I go through my stats when I get finished and I see what people told me, and that's helps me determine like to improve upon my game, to improve upon my teaching. Got all yeses? Okay. How do you verify the ascendant? I'm not teaching that here. You got to come in the course. It's called the 8th place method. We learn that in cosmophysics. And you got to learn the basics first before you can learn how to verify the ascendant. I do it. Ra Aku does it. Most of the people who are in the astrology club on Facebook, I'm not going to say most of them, because you have to go through steps before you can get there. So some people say, now, I've never seen anyone verifying ascendants until I got to cosmophysics. And then for a while I was like, eh. But then when I learned it, oh man. Like I think I did like 4 people today who they just wanted their ascendant verified. So if that's something that you're interested in, is getting your ascendant verified, we go through an interview process and I ask you about things that happened before your life, before you were 12 years old. Okay? So that's how I interview you and ask you some questions about some things that happened in your life before you were 12 that you have a direct answer to, not an opinion. And then that's how we figure it out, right? And that's like the start of it. So the true node symbol is your north node. That's Rowan. Make sure you put the little red question and mark it as a question too. Yeah, so Turi, I think I'm pronouncing that right. If you have to have somebody who knows how to do it, or somebody's got to teach you. True North Node is your spiritual destiny. That's tomorrow. That's under planets. That's not tonight. Anybody has a camera and they want to come on for a second? I like interacting with my family. So all you got to do is just hit the presenter button and I'll bring you on. I like to do a shout out to get some feedback. So if anybody has a camera and it's quiet in the background and you'd like to give me some feedback, I'm opening an invitation to you right now. In my natal chart at astro.com, my signs are different from the ones you told us to use on our charts. What does that mean? In my natal chart at astro.com, my signs are different from the ones you told us to use on our charts. Tracy, you have to give me more specifics. I don't know what do you mean? Like when you get to Astro and you scroll down, there are the symbols right there. And if you're talking about, oh, I got to share the screen, right? Excuse me. My bad. You're talking about these symbols down here versus what are those? I think you're talking about these. Let me pull this up. Let me make sure, because I don't know if everybody can see that. So let me open that. Let me close that. Shut that down. Go back over here. Share the screen again and just pull up just this. Are you talking about this, Tracy? The information on the inside of the chart doesn't change. She said, how often does the info on our charts change? The information on the inside in your natal chart doesn't change if you're not doing a progress chart. But I'm not teaching progressions. Your natal chart is where you start. Start with the natal chart. That's it. What are the basics, or what things should we know? What are the basics, or what things should we know before enrolling in a full astrology course as not to be lost and confused? You don't have to know anything to enroll in an astrology course. In my course, I want you to have an empty cup. See this? See this little candle holder? That's what I want you to know. I want you to be just like that. I don't want you to know anything. I don't have any prerequisites except for an open mind. You see that? That's what I'm looking for. This is my best student who doesn't have anything. Here's another one. See this? It's empty. See how I can hold it upside down? This is a great student because now you got an empty cup. I can put something in it. I can put stuff in there then. I can put stuff in here. I can put some more stuff in here. You see, now you can leave with something. But somebody who's like full of stuff, when you come into class and you got all this in your cup, it's tough for me to teach you unless you got a humble spirit. Like when I went to my teacher, I knew some things, but I always use the empty cup philosophy when I go into a class. I act like I don't know anything. But these are the basics. I'm giving you enough information and knowledge to read your own charts. And I showed you on Sunday, and I'm going to show you on Saturday how we put all this together and write your own Bible. We're not going into that tonight. If you don't have an exact time, can you still do a chart? Yes. You can either call me, and I'll give you a time by doing a verification of a rectification of your chart and verifying the ascendant through the interview, which we call the 8th place method at Cosmophysics. Or you could use 6 o'clock and you could put the sun on your ascendant. There's a couple other ways you could do it too, but I definitely wouldn't trust the time on the birth certificate. One, because that's vaginal entry into the world, right? So if you were in labor, if there's some ladies on here who have had children and you were in labor for like 6 hours or 4 hours, you don't know whether that child was breathing how long the child was breathing inside of the womb, because the soul enters the body on the first breath. So if the baby comes out crying, the baby was already breathing in the womb. So the nurse or the doctor, or you're going to look at the clock and you're going to say, oh, it's 7:34. But he came out crying, or she came out crying. He was already breathing already. Now, if he came out, it wasn't making any noise, and then you were like, ah! Okay, then we go with that. But in the interview, you're gonna get that too. But this is not a class about the 8th place method. I don't teach that in public. That's one of our trade secrets of Cosmophysics. If you want to learn that, you're gonna have to get the basics before you get that. You're gonna have to learn the diurnal. You're gonna have to show me that you know the dates of every sign when they start, Aries all the way through Pisces. You're gonna have to memorize your chart and tell me what degree and house all of your planets are in and what signs they're in. And you got to show me you're dedicated, man. No, because that tool gives you so much accuracy. No. That's not for everybody. I'm sorry. There's plenty good. The 12th house. The 12th house is also your spiritual grandmother. It's your Akashic records. It's your spirituality. It's meditation. There's nothing bad about the 12th house. I keep saying that. Please, everybody type in, there's nothing bad about any of it. So you can go to jail, but enlightenment is in the 12th house. The placement of the zodiac signs are not in the same house as the way you explained to us, Tracy. I know, because you don't have the rising sign at 0 degrees. Okay? We haven't got to that part yet anyway. We're just going over what the houses are. Tomorrow we're doing planets. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow. But if you want to move it, I'm going to show you how to move it. Let me see if I got any more questions. Rohan, the information from the chart I printed from astrology.com is different from the guide in the workbook. Why is that? What do you mean the information from the chart you printed from astrology.com is different from the guide in the workbook? I don't know what you printed from there. Tracy wants me to look at her signs really quick, everybody. This is only one person. And I don't need your full name. 8/13/66, 9:57 a.m. You didn't put the city where you stay at. Does the period of the zodiac determine the amount of time the planet is teaching the, I don't know, what you put something, Andre, you didn't finish this, you didn't finish it. But I'm going to pull up, I'm going to just pretend you were in Atlanta, 1966, August the 13th. She's a Leo, and she said 9:57. I love it when people want to see, y'all just want to see me work. That's okay. So, are you looking at this, Tracy? Let me come back over. Oh, I forgot to share the screen. Excuse me. You got to remind me, ladies and gentlemen. So, Tracy, is this it? 9:57 a.m.? Is this the same thing that you're looking at? I'm going to show you all a little technique here tonight about turning the wheel. Watch how the wheel turns. Oops. Tracy, is this what you're looking at? Is this your chart right here? I'm going to put it over there. All right. Silver Spring, Maryland. Rohan, you can't ask a question in like incomplete sentences. Earlier, I think, oh, you said, why isn't it the lesson being taught? Oh, Andrea, you're saying, I got you, I got you, I got you. So Andrea is telling me her question earlier, if I can find it. I'm going to do this really quick because I got giveaways to give away. While I'm doing that, as a matter of fact, those of you waited at the end, you got the Moon Magic curriculum. Guess what else I got for you? The meditation. Wow. Because I'm a meditator. You stayed to the end, or almost to the end. Download your meditation. How about that? I want everybody meditating. That's for the crew. It would be so much better if you had a camera so you could come on and we could talk. The 12th house is related to all the water signs. So the 12th house, the 4th house, and the 8th house are all related. I called him. It was a mosquito. Yes. So it's like the grandmother. That's the spiritual grandmother. The spiritual mother is the 4th house. The spiritual grandmother is the 12th house. All right, Tracy. This one's for you and you and you and you. All right. So you see, she's at 9 degrees, and she's asking. This is still the 1st house, and she has this big stellium up here. 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in Cancer. I don't want to get you crying. Woo! Look at this. Woo-wee. Do y'all see that? Am I sharing the screen? My bad. Look at this. Do you see this up here? Look at these numbers. She's got Jupiter at 21, Mars at 22. You're a feisty Cancer. And then you got Moon in Cancer, which is home in Cancer. So the emotions with all this energy right behind it, like you got to be careful to stay out of fights, man. Don't be punching anybody. Or when you Like when you go off, you really go off. But when you want to stay to yourself, you stay to yourself. Um, some other things I'm not going to say in public like that. And you love like a Cancer because you got Venus also in Cancer, 27 degrees, which Venus is going to this little blue mark, and Mercury is this mark because it's 1, 2. So it's in the 10th house. But remember what I told you earlier, wherever this falls at, the 11th house is ruled by Leo. The 11th house is ruled by Leo. So you can read it as Mercury in the 10th or Mercury in the 11th, but we're not doing planets tonight. You know what? Let me go back over here. We're not doing planets tonight. We're just doing houses. How's the meditation downloaded? You just click on it, and then when you get to the screen, hold it. Let me show you what it's going to look like. If you want it, when you get the download and you click on it, it's going to look like this. We're ready, microcosmic orbit. And then you hit the button download. That's all you got to do. Just hit the button and it comes to your computer. If you're on a phone, I would suggest you have some memory or some space. I know it'll come down to your tablet, but just hit the button. Don't hit this, it's free. Just hit this button right here, and then it's going to start. It's going to ask you, do you want to open it? Mine was really quick. No, I don't, because I already have it. Thank you. All right. Now, thank you for the poll. And I wanted to ask one more question of you all. Oh, have you learned anything new yet? These are quick polls. Have you learned anything new yet? Something you didn't know or something that you didn't pick up on? Have you learned anything new? Yes, and absolutely. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Appreciate it. All right. Now, I told you all that I'm looking for some people to work with. For staying with me, I'm putting money back in your pocket. So I'm about to give you an offer to work with Coach Khayr. Because when you're studying this, let me explain something to you about studying. You have to practice. You can't just study and then not practice. Reading is one thing, application is the next. So for me, I can take any one thing I want to really get good at and make that my goal for the month. If you really want to like learn with just the basics, even if you don't take the course and you want to apply this to your life, I highly suggest the Moon Magic program, right? So if I'm offering the Moon Magic program, I am offering you a chance to have $50 off. If you join Moon Magic before the 11th for 1 month, you can have $50 off. That means it's only $75. Now, soon I'm going to be charging $250 a month for Moon Magic. Right now it's $125. People who subscribe, it's only $100 a month. Now, this way you get to come inside and see what's going on, right? And I gave you the curriculum, I think, to download the Moon Magic curriculum. That's like really, really, really important. I want to make sure you have, I want to make sure everybody has that. Where's my Moon Magic curriculum? Yes, I left that up. We already did that. So if you are interested in working with Coach to further your studies, like I just use the moon. I don't use, I have it like super simple. Some of you are like, oh man, it's so complicated. What about this? What about that? You really can just take the moon and move. Take the moon, move. Take the moon, move. Take the moon, move. For 5 years, I've been teaching this course. I've never stopped living it. I would love to have somebody come and take it over and they be the admin for it. But right now it's my baby. And not this month, but when the June cycle starts, oh, I got something so like I'm working on the upgrade. So I'm bringing it from one platform to another platform, but I have to learn the technical side of it. I'm not teaching myself, I have a mentor, but to make it even more streamlined and just more and more offers. But I give away so much stuff with my Moon Magic. So if you're interested, go to Moon Magic for the 1 month and put in Keep 50 as the coupon code, all capital letters. Keep 50. And then you can come in Moon Magic for $75. But don't do it yet. Just bookmark it. Stay on the same page because you might be interested in, somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, what about a reading? How much do you charge for a reading? I charge $175 for a reading. And Moon Magic is $125. So that's $300. If a person wants to get it together, I give it to them for $200. I'll read your chart, we'll do the consultation, we'll discuss the strategy, I'll answer every question you have, and you get to take it and jump right into a system that applies directly to you. Because I've seen people get a reading from me and they come back next year. They be like, man, it's been so tough. I say, well, you didn't have a system to like apply what you learned, right? You got to apply it and you got to stick with it. So enlightening, yes. Strategic, quite. But in the Bible, it says, lean not on your own understanding. I don't care whether you're a Christian or not. That's the facts. I use systems. I use Moon Magic. I use the sun cycle. I use some things that Dr. Master Mitchell Gibson gives me. I use some things that Grandmaster Senyata blessed me with. I rely on, the world operates off of systems. And I'm giving people and teaching people the Moon Magic system. So if they never see me again, they'll know how to manifest. They'll know how to manifest. How do I manifest? Teach your children how to manifest. And stay focused right in the frontal lobe. Remember what the video said. So if you're interested in the offer, now this you put in Keep 51. Keep 51, and it's not even $150, it's $149. So look, you can get Moon Magic for a month and a consultation with me for less than the price of one reading. Somebody the other day, they paid for a consultation. No, they paid for Moon Magic, which was $125. I said, why didn't you just put the other $25 with it? Why didn't you just put the other $25 with it and get the whole, get the whole course? Now, I got a limited spot on these. Yes, I'm not letting 20 people come in because that's a lot of work on me. I think I have like 6 or 7 more of these because it's not for everybody. So if you want to take advantage of it, I don't know how many people have gotten it already, but if this is something I know that a few people got some on Sunday. And I'm going to offer this again tomorrow. I'm going to offer it on Friday. So if you want to wait until Saturday, it might be gone. But if you want to do it now, then you're in. There's no reoccurring charge. This is not the subscription. You just scroll down and where you see, this is the webinar only deal. But when you get to the page on Moon Magic, that's not what it's going to say. Take you over to the page real quick. So when you get there, let me show you what you're going to see. You're going to see the same video. There's the curriculum. And when you scroll down, You're going to see a Moon Magic and a full astrology consultation for $200. When you click on add to cart, you're going to put the code in when you check out. When you're ready to check out, you're going to put in keep 51. Enter the coupon code right there. Apply, take $51 off, then you check out. I already have it, so I'm not gonna, I like putting money in my own pocket though. That is kind of cool. Who else has got questions? How many Moon Magic classes? There's only one. It's every 28 days. The next one starts on May the 11th. And you have to be in by the 13th. So I'm opening it up tomorrow on the 8th. I'm looking at my calendar right here. I'm opening it up on the 8th, and you have until the 12th, no, the 13th to sign up. So you can't come in late. That's the other thing. It teaches you to be on time. The entire program is time sensitive. All right? Absolutely. Rowan, peace. Belinda, I hope I answered your question. And then I'm also offering the course. And remember I told you to write down keep 100? Here's the 5-week astrology course that I'm going to be teaching. It's a beginner's course, okay? And I thought about it and I said, how much is it worth to learn astrology? Well, I don't want you just to learn it. I like, if you want to add it to your healing practices, and you do Reiki, or you do massage, or you're intuitive, or you work with crystals, or you work with tarot cards, and you want to add this to your toolbox and your repertoire, it could be worth a lot. Thousands of dollars. Benefits. Man, I have clients that really show me a lot of love as far as in networking and other things that I'm doing, right? It's a really valuable skill. It helps me with all my relationships, personal, business, anything I'm getting ready to do, I go check the charts. I spin it around. Like this is, I didn't even get to show y'all this, right? My apologies. I can't even remember, where did I get this from? This is called the Astro Reader, pomegranate.com. But if you just type in Astro Reader, I think it comes with a book and a CD. But I just like to turn it because we're going to go over this. Let's say it's Uranus is in Cancer in the 8th house. See how that lines up? Uranus in Cancer in the 8th house. So this is like for the beginners. But I'm always buying basic stuff. So this is lovely, of course. I call this the grandmama. This is such an exquisite tool. It just brings the chart to life, right? So I'll show you where to get. Now, if anybody wants to know where this is at, just send me an email, hello@coachkaiir.com, and I'll tell you how to get one of those, because I know some people on here have already been studying astrology. So if that's something. Oh, I also wanted to ask, would you recommend this class to someone else? Right. Let me go back and see any questions. Is there crystals offered with Moon Magic, and do you teach chakra balancing with Moon Magic? If you want to learn more about chakra balancing, I do know about chakra balancing. What is your goal? Did you download the curriculum and see how the system works? Because are you coming into Moon Magic to learn more about chakra balancing? No problem. The crystals aren't offered, but I tell you which crystals to get. So if you download the curriculum, you'll see what crystals I recommend. They're not mandatory. I recommend them, but no, I don't sell them. Peace, Nicole. Yes, I would. What you mean, peace, and guess what? And yes, the crystals, I recommend the crystals, and that's the process. So check it out. I have thoroughly enjoyed everyone who came tonight. I so appreciate it. Um, like, this is another humbling experience. This is where I'm at on Facebook. Please click. Oh, and then you can just go into the photos and you'll be able to see the slides for tonight. And I probably will make them public. I think they are. Um, this is the link to take you directly to the slideshow. Oh, and I did want to ask one more question. If you thought this was valuable, if you thought that this was valuable, the law of balance. Coach Kair wants to know, how valuable do you, how much was this, how much was it worth to you? And gratitude is a really serious thing. So somebody said I should have charged for this webinar. And I said, I really want people to learn. Now, so a lot of people say, man, everything is free on the planet, information is free. This was something that I did from my heart. If you would like to say, hey, I really learned a lot tonight, and I'd like to make a donation to Coach Kair, it would be greatly appreciated. You can just click on the link, and it will take you right to my donations page, and you can use PayPal, you can use your credit card. If you have a pigeon and you want to send it through a pigeon, that'll be fine as well. But I am humbly accepting your gratitude if you have found some value in this course. And that was one of the other polls that I wanted to ask. I just like getting information from you all. You know, what is the dollar amount that you would put on something like this? What dollar amount would you put on the knowledge and insight that you gained tonight? More than 10 but less than 50, more than 50 but less than 100, more than 100 but less than 500, or it's definitely worth more than 500. Now, this is a question I'm asking for all of you who, even if you were here Sunday, you can put a value on what you got Sunday and what you got today. If you're just here today, you can put a value on what you just got today. If you want to wait until Saturday and see all four, then put a value on it, then I appreciate that as well. But I just wanted to put that out there because energy, man, like when we reward energy, it just keeps coming back around, keeps coming back around. So it's not a mandatory thing. It's just, I know some people ask me, they say, well, I wanted to give you a donation, but you didn't have a way for me to donate. I took care of that. So if you'd like to contribute to help me with, the internet, keeping my internet on, or something like that, or some fresh water, or some more shungite, or more research, like, it does take money to keep this operation afloat. This platform that you're getting, this is not a regular Google Hangout. So, but we're going to keep on putting out the hits. This has been a presentation of the School of Law, and I thank you so much for tuning in to Zoom in tonight with Coach Kair. It has been my pleasure, and I guess I'll leave the chat room open a little bit to see if anybody wants to, I'll just be taking questions in the chat room, and I'm going to let a video play out for the rest of, I'm going to explain the sun cycles in the video I have. If you want to take notes, you can find the video on on YouTube as well. Just type in Coach Kair Sun Cycles. And anything else that you would like to ask me in the chat, I'll stick around. But tomorrow, we'll see you at 9 o'clock. All right. I definitely appreciate it. Oh, thank you so much for those of you who saw the value in this course and said, like, even for tonight, that you said tonight was between 10 and 50 bucks. Yo, thank you, thank you, thank you. Those who said it was more than 500, thank you, thank you, thank you. I definitely appreciate anyone who has signed up tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you for, and welcome aboard Moon Magic. If you're here and you want to take part in it, you'll be hearing from me personally, so we can start working together on Monday. Yeah. If you're already in Moon Magic, you know how we do. We're gonna continue to keep moving on down the line. All right. So I thank all of you so much um, for being here. I appreciate all of you, and I'm gonna share this video with you on the way out, dealing with the sun cycles. All right. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow at 9 o'clock when we'll be going over the planets and what they teach. All those questions about, well, mine wasn't in this house and it was over in this sign, but it wasn't in this house and all that. We'll deal with that tomorrow. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.